So the top of the scene, beginning of the scene, you're starting a scene. And if you want to make it really hard on yourself, have two people standing up there on the stage asking, hey, who are you? Or what are you doing here? Backstories and long explanations are something that we often do if we're writing a story, like a piece of fiction or something. You have to get that reader up to speed. But in improv, particularly game-based scenes, we don't want all of that backstory and exposition because it's going to get in the way. It's going to bore people. It's just not needed. In this episode and the next few episodes, I'm talking about the top of the scene, initiations, and setting things like base reality. There's a book out there, you might have heard of it, called Truth in Comedy. It's widely referenced. It's a famous improv book, and I'll add a link to the show notes. This book states pretty explicitly that kind of exposition just sucks. It's not great. Like if you're watching a scene as part of the audience and you're watching two performers just kind of work out all this stuff at the top of the scene, it is not that exciting. It's pretty dull for the audience to watch. So you want to skip all of that as part of your scene. One way of avoiding starting the scene this way is to just pretend that the scene actually began a while before it actually started. So the relationship is already established. The context is already clear to the characters. You know why you're there. You know the other person who's there. You just need to kind of just step into the middle of the action. And this ends up sparing the audience all that negotiation phase between the actors about that thing that's happening. Like it's very fourth wall breaking if the audience is watching the actors kind of work that stuff out. And it takes the actor's you out of the character if you're trying to work that thing out too. You're thinking about the improv, not just being that person. So what we want is to just agree and sort out the backstory, all those details about what's happening or why it's happening while you're just flying through that scene. Like any pertinent backstory, the parts that actually matter are going to be discovered along the way while you do that scene. Only the essential pieces too, like through justification and stuff, are added. Only the bits that you need. All right, let's get back to the top of the scene stuff. So I'm going to give you a couple exercises. One of those exercises is going to work if you have scene partner or scene partners, and the other one you can practice on your own. So to practice the two-person scene, you're going to have two players up, and this will also work really well adjusted as a warm-up if you don't want to just run through the whole scene, because this is all top of the scene practice. So player one is going to start a physical action. And player two is going to immediately identify what that action is and also justify it. So you're going to be agreeing on this reality right away, whatever the action is, whatever's happening right now. And that ends up forcing the scene to just kind of start with a little bit of momentum behind it. Now, if you want, player one can start that physical action and player two can identify the action and then player one can justify it. So it's a little bit more working together and a little bit more challenging too, because you got to be on your toes about, what it is and then justify it right away. If you want a little bit more challenge, a little bit more still, the coach or the teacher can make certain physical actions illegal, like washing dishes. If you know, you know. All right, the solo practice now. You can try a solo version of this called Narrate This. Record yourself for about a minute. Perform a physical task on your own, like folding laundry. That would probably be another legal one, but you don't have a coach or a teacher, so nothing's illegal in this. Or, if you want a challenge, make yourself assembling a tetherball pole thing for your dog Susan to get sufficient exercise in the morning. While you're doing that action, narrate the context of that action as if you're speaking to someone and you're telling them, why you're doing that thing, and you can keep justifying each thing as you do it. You can say what you're doing as part of this long process, and then you can justify that thing. You might be detailing your emotions. You might be saying why you need this whole tetherball thing, and you believe it actually got delivered way faster than normally, considering that you live on an island and it's a whole tetherball pole. Anyways, just keep going and keep explaining things to that person that you imagine is there with you, watching, doing that thing and not helping at all with the tetherball pole. I'm deHaan, and this is your Improv Brain. You can find a bunch of improv resources, including downloads at improvupdate.com. You can find my newsletter there as well.